Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is said to introduce many different pieces of Jedi, Sith, and Force lore in this film that's all going to be used as a way to benefit many of the new characters like Rey and Kylo Ren and a whole lot more in this story. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, what's really exciting about Episode 9 is that we do know that this film really is going to explore the mythology of Star Wars in a deeper way than ever before in the Skywalker saga, which really is going to be a very big challenge for J.J. Abrams and George, and what they're really trying to do with this movie is, of course, to show us how the Jedi, Sith, and Force lore is going to be used and utilized in such a way where it's going to evolve the characters of Kylo and Rey. And I think it's going to be very fascinating to see exactly how that's all going to be executed on the big screen. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting for Episode 9. Now, specifically, what's really intriguing about all of this is that a description of both Rey and Kylo Ren inside of a crystal cave, where it's described that Kylo interrupts Rey during her training session and her path to becoming a Jedi of sorts, where Rey and Kylo begin to change and exchange their philosophies about the dark and the light sides of the Force. It's explained that Rey eventually reveals a big secret about Snoke that she discovered in between the events of Episode 8 and 9, and that Rey unveils to Kylo that she and the Resistance discovered hyperspace routes to a world that holds dark side origins, and Rey discovered from a First Order base, where Rey was said to have traveled there some months before Episode 9, where she discovered that this was the location in which Snoke would often train through the ways of the dark side many decades ago, and that Rey learned new truths about the origins of the dark side in the Sith cave, where Snoke once trained. It's said to date back to the Old Republic era, and that Snoke lived during that era to the Jedi and Sith, where Rey reveals to Kylo that Snoke had multiple apprentices before Kylo Ren, and that Kylo is said to be shocked by this revelation. Now, initially, Kylo only thought that there was one apprentice before him. However, it turns out that Rey discovered that Snoke had trained over a dozen apprentices during his lifetime, after he actually trained by his master Kylo Ren. The Sith cave was said to have once been created by Kylo Ren, who was once Snoke's master. So let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, we do know that Episode 9 is going to have a lot of twists and turns just like this. Even Eunice Swatama, the man who portrays Chewbacca in the sequel trilogy, even said that this entire movie is a I did not see this coming moment, which really is a big statement, because that tells us right then and there that from start to finish of this movie, it's really going to have a lot of big reveals just like this. So Snoke having over a dozen apprentices is very intriguing, and how Snoke actually trained that many people before Kylo Ren really does make one wonder as to exactly what happened to those characters. Now, I'm sure that this is going to be JJ's way of really connecting this to the new Star Wars trilogy, which, by the way, there's a lot of hints out there that the David Benioff and D.B. Weiss trilogy is going to be based in the Old Republic era, which honestly I think is brilliant. I think that's a great thing to do, and something that a lot of Star Wars fans are truly going to enjoy. So, the fact that Rey and the Resistance were able to discover hyperspace routes to this world that holds dark side origins, and how Rey goes on a mission over there by herself in between the events of Episodes 8 and 9. Now, in case you guys did not know, the time jump between 8 and 9 is roughly 1 year, and it's actually said that she traveled to this planet some months before the events of Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. So while all of this happens, Rey reveals this big secret about Snoke, while she is interrupted by Kylo Ren during her training session in the Crystal Cave, which, by the way, is said to be the entrance to the Lost City. So, what I love so much about this is that we do know that Episode 9 is going to really allow us to understand a little bit more about Snoke's backstory and the character of Snoke and exactly who he really was and where he comes from, and how he's going to be introduced in this film when it comes to new secrets about all of this. We do know that the origins of the First Order will be explored in this film, as confirmed by Vanity Fair back in May, I believe it was. And along with that, we will be learning more about Snoke's backstory. So, the character of Snoke, I will admit, he really grew on me. The fact that he was very mysterious, the fact that he was the one directly responsible for sending Luke into isolation, and pretty much, just allowing Kylo Ren to kill his own father, Han Solo. Snoke really did a lot of damage to the Skywalker/Solo bloodline. He really did. He was a big deal. So the fact that they didn't really explain too much about him was rather upsetting and a letdown. Now next month in September we will be getting a dedicated Snoke comic issue, which by the way is going to unveil new secrets about Snoke in a strange way just before episode 9 drops come this December, which really isn't all that far away, guys. I gotta say, we are now pretty much just under 4 months away from its release. You know, just yesterday marked 4 months away. Now we are just under 4 months away from the release of The Rise of Skywalker. It's almost hard to believe. So, with that being said, Episode 9 does have a lot to offer. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon, we hear them moans again.